I noticed that I had received a challenge from Idol Killer on Reformed Pilgrim's channel. And just to put it bluntly, I'm your huckleberry. Okay? I don't need to wait. We'll get it started right now. And so the first thing we're going to do here is check out one of his most popular videos. Check this bad boy out. It's got 19,000 views. That's amazing. And so what we're going to do here is we're going to view this video, why do so many Christians reject Calvinism. And I would go so far as to submit that the question isn't why do so many Christians reject Calvinism. The real question is why do people in general, including people who pretend to be Christians, reject the doctrines of grace as revealed in Scripture? And I would submit that the answer to that question is because the carnal mind is enmity to God. It can't submit itself to these doctrines of grace. Why? Because of Romans 8:7. That would be pleasing to God for them to do that. They need to be taken out of the carnal mind to be able to do that. So let's go ahead and get started with the video here.
Why do so many Christians actively reject Calvinism? That is the question that was posed. And in this episode, we're going to be considering the answers that were given to this question. We'll be providing some criticism and pushback on those answers, and we'll ultimately endeavor to answer this question for ourselves. So, why do so many Christians actively reject Calvinism?
They don't know the Bible. It's not because they know too much of the Bible that they have come to this position. It's because they know too little of the Bible that they have come to this conclusion.
Stephen Lawson's very first reason: Christians simply don't know the Bible. Now, recently I gave my testimony reviewing how I'd been a Calvinist for nearly 3 decades, and I noted how it was due to my studying Scripture that led me to ultimately walk away and reject Calvinism.
Well, that's quite a claim. I hope that we actually will get those scriptures that caused you to do that in this video.
Maintaining my Christian faith. I noted how my adult Sunday school teacher and my pastor were both Calvinists and both experts in biblical languages, and that they confirmed my understanding of the text was accurate. So while perhaps some Christians may indeed be lazy no-goodniks and layabouts who refuse to study and read their Bibles, for those of us who are adamantly opposed to Calvinism, our reasons are grounded in Scripture itself. Now, does Lawson see this supposed ignorance as a matter of simply lacking a
Hopefully that he's not just going to leave that claim open there and just make the claim that it is Scripture that caused me to do this, and he's actually going to go into the Scripture. I want to give him the benefit of the doubt and assume that he's going to do that very soon within the next 36 minutes.
sufficient understanding of the text?
And it's really their lack of knowledge of the full counsel of God as taught in the Scripture. It allows them to continue to rebel against the truth that is presented in the doctrines of grace.
So our ignorance of Scripture allows us to rebel against the doctrines of grace. Note how Lawson's response is laced with a venomous attack on our character and motives. We're ignorant so that we can continue to rebel against the doctrines of grace.
Okay, but let's stop here for a second. If that's true, is it still a venomous attack? Or is that some kind of anti-virtue signaling, right? That's the same thing that your boss does. Oh, Leighton Flowers, right? You can't tell me I'm a false teacher because I'm your brother. Right? No. If you are a false teacher, you have to be told that. Okay? If you don't understand the scriptures, you have to be told that too. Nobody's here to placate to your emotions, most certainly not me.
But what are the doctrines of grace? What book of the Bible spells them out? I mean, he just said we're ignorant of the Bible, right? But you see, that's just it. That's the point of contention right there. The supposed doctrines of grace are not laid out in Scripture. No, rather, they're the result of Protestant reformers seeking to build atop Augustinian anthropology and philosophy.
I can't wait to get further into his scripture points here. I know we're only 3 minutes in, so I won't get on to him for that yet. We'll wait till about right here before we start saying, man, where's the scripture? We'll give him the benefit of the doubt, but I can't wait to show that I don't care what Augustine said. I don't care what John Calvin said. I don't care what Jeff Durbin says. I don't care what R.C. Sproul says. I don't care what James White says. I care what this Bible says.